Our students, Brian Proctor, the art teacher, back again with another video. And this one is on how to draw your characters in a seated position. I'm sitting down, and I'm sure that you want to draw your characters sitting down in some time, or rather in your book. So let me go and show you how to do that. And in the beginning, it looks like I'm just drawing a chair, or showing you how to do a chair drawing video, but it all comes together in the end of the video. It all makes sense and come together. You just have to stay with it. Trust me. All right, let's go and do this video. All right, let's get back to some old school teaching now. This one is going to be dedicated on how to draw people sitting. I don't think I've ever done a video on that. I've drawn a video on people sitting, or just some quick sketches of somebody sitting down, but I don't think I dedicated a whole video to how to draw people sitting. So let's get started. So first thing I want to do is, if you have a 2x4, and for those who don't know what a 2x4 is, a 2x4 is just a piece of wood. Basically, the size of a piece of wood is like 2 inches, 2 inches on the side, and 4 inches in the front. 2x4. So if you take a piece of wood like that, let's just say you have a 6x4, so it'd be 6 inches across this way, and then 4 inches that way. So it'd be 6 and 4, like that way, just measurement wise. So if you took this piece of wood and you stood it right in front of you, just like this, on the ground. Here's your ground. You took this 6x4 piece of wood, 6 across, 4 inches. Measurements really don't matter. I'm just using that as just a reference, or just a reference. And it would look like that, almost like a doorway when you're looking into it. Now, if you and you're standing right in front of it. You're standing right in front of this 6x4 piece of wood, that's going to be 9 by whatever, like a doorway. So if you took this piece of wood and then you twisted it, if it's like this and you twisted it a little bit, just the same way you see my hand in the front, if you twist it a little bit, you're going to start to see the side, some side of my hand, the same way you'll see the side of that wood. So if you twisted it, you will see the sides just like this. Just like that, and then the top. Depending on your angle of vision, you're going to see the side of it. Right now, so the more you turn that to the side, the more of the side you're going to see. It's just, natural thing. The more you're going to see on the side, the less you're going to see on the front. So the front is going to look like this. It's going to be going back in space. So it's going to look like that. So you're doing perspective. Now, anytime you're doing perspective, you're going to have these big triangles like this. Just like if you've seen the pictures when people show you how to do perspective, they do the road that goes all the way back into space where you can't see anything, and that's the ground right here, and it might be the city here. It's that long road to drive to the city. And it's just one big triangle. That's all it is. It's one big triangle. And you can cut it anywhere. You can cut that triangle anywhere. Let's just say this was a mountain pass right here, and the road goes in there, and then you have that. So you can cut that triangle any place you want to. But that just shows perspective. Like if you turn something just like this here, you see it straight on like this. And if you turn it, as I say, you'll see the side of it, which means these two front pieces, if this was long enough, and get it good straight, and I turned it this way, these two pieces on the side would actually come to a point if it's long enough. If it was long enough. So we got that out the way. Now, when you're drawing somebody sitting, most times for me personally, I will draw the thing that the person is sitting on. Now, if I'm drawing a chair or a throne or whatever it is the person is sitting on, the same way you did this is the same way that you will draw your chair, your throne, your cockpit chair, whatever it is you are having your person sit on. So if I'm drawing a chair that's facing me, let's just say this guy, he was in like a fighter jet or Gundam unit or whatever it is. Yes, I'm a Gundam fan. And the chair is facing me like this. Here is my square right here, rectangle. Now the same way you did this triangle is the same way you would do the bottom. Let's just say, I don't know where the point would be at, but let's just say from this corner to this corner, wherever these two meet, it comes out like that, just a bit. So from this corner to this corner, it's going to come out. Erase this. Then you have this. You have basically, you're just having this triangle go back to the center of this chair. You erase that, then you drop this down, and this is like the side of your wood right here. So now you have a chair. Just by doing this triangle here. Do a triangle, Brian. Just by doing this triangle here. And then wherever you want the back of your chair to be, you do this straight across, straight up. And you don't want this to be way out here like this. You kind of want it even, because your top of your chair is always going to be higher than the front of your chair. Or you have more material here than you do here in most cases, unless you just have like a really short back chair and a long, part to sit on. So this is just fuel for thought. Again, you draw your triangle, you cut it somewhere across the triangle, and you do a high back. So let me ink this, because this is getting out of control. And I'm surprised I hadn't put my glasses on yet. So we have this regular rectangle, and then you have your triangle that comes out here, not too long, and across, and then you just add a lip to that, and then down. Now you see this is really long here compared to this. So what you can do is not have this so wide. Like you can have it here and not so wide out. I'll just leave it there, and then you're straight down here, and then you have your chair. But whatever it is, you might not have a chair. It might be a throne. It might be, like I said, a car seat or whatever. That's for you to figure out in your drawings, because I could round it off. I could say like this is the height of it. This will be like a headrest, and I still haven't put my glasses on. That's amazing. Here we can take this. You can round this off here, and you can put some arms on top of it here. And the same way you did this triangle, where that point is, that it goes back. These are your arms. So basically, just like I showed you in my perspective videos, if you have this point, let's just say that was an explosion here. This is the explosion from way, 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 way galaxy away, and stuff started flying in every direction. That's the same thing you would do here. So from there and there, you could do arms, and it would be the same thing. You do an arm from here, usually comes off straight across, follow that, down, and that's your little 2x4 going back like that. It will be the same thing on the other side. Here, go across. So usually if I'm doing that, you have to line it up. I'll do the square first, this little rectangle first, then I will do the back and line it up. Now it's better, number one, if I use a ruler, and number two, if I ever get my glasses. Let's get my glasses. So this is going to be a little crooked inking of this chair. So remember, your line has to go across. It has to be even. One arm can't be up. The other arm can't be down. And these are just rectangles. And as I always say, learn to draw your shapes. Learn to draw your shapes. Now that could be connected to the back of your chair, or it could be an arm or something that connects to the bottom or the side of your chair. And because I'm not using a ruler, of course it's going to be kind of off. I have to look up every now and then to make sure I am being seen in the monitor. Up, and then that. So I didn't plan on spending this much time on drawing a chair, but it kind of all fits into the big scheme of things once I show you how to put a person in there. Now you can have this connected, or you don't have to have it connected. It could be just connected by a little piece back here, or it could be flush with this, that, and then round it off. Don't have it, you know, a hard wood chair. You can round it off like that. So as I said, you can have this here, and it'll be the same thing depending on what your arms look like. You can have like curved arms that go down into the chair, whatever, however you're designing, whatever. It could have legs. It could have like one center leg. It could be just anything. It could be side legs on the side, short leg. It could be like a house chair. And since it's from the front, you will see just the front, just like you do that, except if it's long. If it's like a long leg, then you'll start to see the side of it. Or you can have just, you know, a center leg here, maybe it's round, like if he was in a cockpit or a robot, you know, you could have like wires or something going to this from the chair, and whatever wires coming from here hooking to like his helmet, whatever. It's comics. This is how we do it. You plug into his helmet, or however, say the arms here. And you always want to have some kind of pattern in your chair, which is nice. And as I said, I don't know how this became a chair tutorial, but we're going to get into doing the people in a minute. And you can have your control stick coming up to the center, or this could be your control sticks here. Like that, along with some other gadgets, side buttons, something that would help control. So you get the picture on drawing a chair, but basically I wanted to show you the sides when you start to turn your wood to the side. Now that's going to be the same thing as far as people. When you turn a person, you'll start to see the side. Same thing in the chair. So with this, let me do a side thing on a chair. I ran out of room. So every chair is not going to be from the front, and every chair is not going to be from the side. Sometimes, every chair is not going to be from the front, and every chair is not going to be from the profile position. So if you're drawing a profile, you just draw an L. A chair is an L, the letter L, that's all. Except you want to lean it back. There's your chair. You can have your arm here, as I said, and then you can have your piece right here. And your one thing there, it kind of looks like a barber chair. You have your design for your chair, make it a little more comfortable. That doesn't have to connect. You can stop right there and then connect somehow in the back. If you have this and this, it could connect from the back. So, I mean, drawing a side chair is easy because it's just like an L, opposite way. But as I say, you want to lean it back. No chair sits straight up and down. That's a wall right there, wall in the ground. A chair is going to lean back because chairs lean back. Now, hopefully you saw that. This camera's weird again, but I'm not going to get into that. Drawing from the side is the same thing as this. It'll be the same thing as this. You have your side of your chair, and then you have your triangle like that. So like this. This is the side of your chair, or 3/4 of your chair. Now realistically, you would have a 2-point perspective. If you can see two sides, it's a 2-point perspective. But because your chair is so small or so short, it won't go way back like this. So you have that, and then you put your seat on it like that. And wherever that stops, that goes too. And that's kind of close. So this one is going to have to go down lower than that so that you can get some good chair in there. And I should be using a ruler because I'm drawing all my lines crooked like that. And remember, this is going to go back a little bit. So let me ink this because I'm getting a whole lot of lines. Going back. Going back. This is one line that's going to be higher than this, is going to be higher than this, so that you can get some actual share in there. And it's going to be like that. Remembering this part is going to be taller than that part, and then you have your backing. Coming down and up. So if you follow the lines, this might not be up so high. So go back again with the rectangle. Let's just say this was the body. This is the head. This is the body. He's going to be sitting in this chair right here. So let's keep this on camera and keep this one here as well. Maybe, maybe not. He's going to be sitting straight on in his chair. Same thing. So rectangle. Find out where your hip is, or your belt, your hip, your waist, your belt is going to be. And usually when I draw a character, I teach people to draw the cylinder, or the cylinder, the tuna can, which is just an oval, I call it a tuna can, and the upside down house, which is just a draw old school house drawn upside down. But when the person is sitting down, you do this V because it represents where your legs go, like that. So let's do this. So your legs go here. This is why we do the V, because it's just the way it's shaped. You have the man junk or the female junk here, and your legs are like this. So when I'm drawing somebody sitting down, I don't draw this V. What I do is it's a little dark, I don't know why. Center line here. What I do is I draw a circle. 2 circles. These are your legs. Now we're going to get into perspective using cylinders. This is kind of the hard part. If I have a pole here, this is a pole or straw. Let's say this is a straw. McDonald's straw makes me thirsty. I want a milkshake. And I set the straw like this same as this pencil. You see the top of this is flat. You don't see the top of this pencil. But if I start to lean it up, you'll see the top of the pencil. Same thing with this pole or this straw. As soon as I tilt it a little bit, you will see the top of it. Now, if this was crazy long, this part would go back in perspective. If it was like, and I have to keep looking at my thing. If this was like a long, like flagpole or something, it would go back into perspective like this, which is just doing a narrow triangle. Okay, so that's just doing this. It's just doing a triangle. Well, that's a crooked triangle. A triangle like that until it vanishes. And then you just open that up like that. And then somewhere down here before it vanishes, you do that. So I can do this a little better. Like so. So the more that you see the top of this thing, the less of the bottom you see. If this pencil was this long, put it in camera, and I started to turn it up, you will not see all of this. This is like really long. This is a new pencil. I had to grab it because my other pencils were getting short. So the more I turn it up, the less you will see of this until it's completely gone, and that's all you see is this. And that's the same thing with your arms and your legs, especially when you're sitting down. So if I did an arm real quick like this, it's going down. And this is that cylinder. This is that straw. Now, if I aimed it, if this person's arm came up and aimed at you, it would basically be like this. That's it. This little circle, because you can't see all of this other stuff behind it. So if he had like his hand here and he was holding a gun, it would look like that, except for you'd see some shoulder right here. like that. Now, so that's the same thing with the legs. The legs are just these straws here. And when you sit down, of course, the legs are not going to be straight. Like if you're standing up, that's bad camera angle, as I said. But when you sit down, it's going to be like that. Let me use my old friends, my paper towel rolls. Here's your leg, right? Here's your leg. Let's just do it this way. It's this way. He's standing up. This person's standing up. So when he sits down, this is on the ground. This is a foot down here. When he sits down, this is going to bend like that. So it's going to be like this. So when you're looking at it from the top, it's going to be like this. When you're looking at it from the front, it's going to be like this. You're going to have the one in front of the other. So using half the leg, when he sits down and aims it to you, it's going to look like this. Now, if he has both legs, like the female will keep the legs closed because it's etiquette, it's going to look like this, two like that. And if they open the legs, which most people do when they sit down, you're going to see a little bit of side. So it's going to be like this. You're going to see, just like we were going back in perspective with this, you're going to see just a little bit of the sides. And then you would have the down part for the knee and the front of the leg. So hard to explain if you don't understand what I'm saying. So let's do this. Now, this person is sitting in that chair. And these are new pins, by the way, and I'm going to review these because I was trying to get some of my old Faber-Castell pins because I was running out. And these are like Chinese pins. But anyway, and these things were costing like $6 for one. And I bought a whole set of these. I think it was like either 12 for like $10. These are two. This is a concept. This is a concept pin, and this one is a zebra pin. So I want to do a review on them, and they're brush pins. They're brush tip pins, and as I said, I want to do a review on them, but I want to use them first so I can find out their strengths and weaknesses, and then I'll tell you. But it's cheaper if you are having to continue to buy pins, which if you're an artist, you are continuing to have to buy pins. So back again. Let's get over here. Let's do this. So this is the upside down house. This is your waist. Your hips, I'm sorry. This is your waist up here. So your legs, and I'm going to draw some really short legs so they'll stay on the paper. The legs are going to be fat here. Go thin into the knee and come out just a little bit like that. Same thing. Fat up here, thin into the knee, go out and come back in to be narrow down here. So that's the telltale sign when you bend these things. This one's going to be fatter or wider than this. So it's kind of like this little triangle thing. So if these legs are here, if you have the legs here and then they're straight in front of you, and I'll just do this one just because if they're straight in front of you, you're going to see this piece here, this wide circle here. You're going to see this piece of this knee right here, and then you're going to see this come down. This little whatever is that? The other part of the leg. I'm forgetting what that's called. You have your calf and the other part of the leg. So it's going to be shaped like this. It's actually because when you sit down on something, and I have nothing soft that I can show you. So let's just use this. This is like this. When you sit down on it, if it was soft, when you sit down on it, it's going to squash, making this wider. So that's the same thing as the back of your thigh. When you sit down, it's going to be really wider. So it's like, this would be flat because you're actually sitting on that chair. And I shouldn't be doing this with an ink pen. And it's going to be, actually it's going to be like this. This is the shape it's going to take, like that. That's why I shouldn't be doing an ink with this brush pen. Like that. It's going to be wide. Then you're going to have your knee here. Then you're going to have your inner calf. Like that. And then your ankle, foot. So it's going to look like that when you're sitting from the side, and then you're going to have the hip that comes in like this. Because this is squished out wider, it's going to be further out from the hip. So this is your belt right here. and this is your other leg here. So if this leg is out, like only women sit with their legs together. So if you did another leg together, it's going to look like the same thing as that, both of them put together. Now, most people, they tend to throw their legs out a little bit, especially men. So what you're going to have is back circle, and you're going to have another front circle here, which is smaller, because remember, this is wider than this. It's like a cone. It's like those cones, those traffic cones that block the roads in the parking lot, so you can't park there. It's like that. Upside down, like this. Like that. So you're going to have, you see this circle, this opening right here, and you see this like that. Same thing, a little wider. So you're going to have this, and the circle is going to be more down at the bottom than it would be at the top. Pencil time. Can you see that? Because this glare is not good in my light. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I can't see when I draw this pencil. It's almost invisible. So you're going to have that, and you're going to see all of this here. And then, of course, you're going to have your knee here, and you're going to have your leg. You're going to have your knee here, and you're going to have your leg that comes down like that, and your foot with an ankle. The foot is going to be out like that. So if I ink this, it's going to be the same thing like this. You have your room for your junk, and then it's going to come out. Here's the knee. And here's the foot. Bad. Put that pen up, Brian. Put that pen up. I told you I'm trying to get used to it, to use it so I can give you guys a good review of it. So now, if this guy had, or this person had the legs both open, it would be the same thing. So I'm going to do a quick one. Here is the belt. So this is the waist. This is this. And as I said, if they're sitting down, I don't do the house because you get lost, because the whole thing, I just do the circle and the circle. Remember, this is going to be sitting on the same line. Circle, circle. So if the guy had his legs out more, it'd be like this, open, and it'd be like that, open, and then down. And I'll stop drawing the calf. I'll just draw cylinders. So this is going to be like this. And then I'll just draw this little wedge. Makes it a little easier. So if you're drawing the cylinders, it's going to be like this. Let me get my other pen, the Faber-Castell. And I hope that's how they pronounce it. I used to, it was Faber-Castell, but no. Like this, and then you have this because you're seeing the top of it, like that, and because you're going down, you're seeing this, and then you have that triangle. Let's just use the triangle, which will become a wedge or that slice of cake for the foot. That's the easy way to draw the foot. And same thing here. You have this, you have the end of it, you have this, and you have this. And then depending on how far the foot is out, you have that wedge. Now right here is going to be that ball, or represent where that knee is going to go. That's why they have that little ball joint. So just forget about that and just put that knee right there where it goes. So remembering you're sitting down. You're sitting down. Hips go in, depending on if it's a female or male, can go in further. And you can have your chair. If they're sitting on the edge of the chair is going to be like here. But if they're like sitting all the way down, all the way back against the chair, the edge of your chair is going to come out here. And it depends on the make of the chair. Like you could have like an open chair like this. Just open like that. But if it has arms on it, then it kind of, not determines, it kind of, what's the word, keeps you from opening your legs too far. If you have like an office chair with arms on it, these little rails on the side where your armrests come, it hits your legs, so you can only open your legs so much in a type of chair. So if you had a throne type chair, like that, and maybe this was all like one piece here. Coming out, drawing your squares that you have to learn how to do, which you have to learn how to do, Brian, because that's a screwed up chair, like that. And this is all one, these things are all one solid piece. Of a throne, because back in the day, they didn't have the little soft, comfortable armrests, and then however you want your throne to be, whatever. The backrest really doesn't make a difference. This is the side. So if you're sitting here, and I can't still think of the word, it stops your legs from opening so far, because your thighs will be hitting here. Your thighs will hit here, so you can only open it just a little bit, or as wide as this chair is. If your person was like if this chair was huge, and your person was like this big, this is the square and this is his legs, yeah, you can make him do a split in that chair, like that. So darken that, Brian, because only you can see and understand that. Yeah, so it depends on what you draw, and that's why I always say I draw my chair first, or draw whatever the person is sitting on. It's the same way if I drew somebody with a gun, and the gun is like in a weird position. Sorry, I'm hiccuping. The gun is like in a weird position. I don't draw the hand. I draw the gun first. Let's say the gun is like right here. Here's the gun. I'll draw the hand, the shoulder, which is the delt, which is connected to that. So it's a given, it's going to be there. Then I'll draw this back part here, the forearm, however, and then I'll draw the bicep. I'll throw the bicep in so that it fits the gun, and the gun doesn't fit the arm, because you may need the gun pointed at whoever, because it's supposed to be that way. So, because this is going to block a lot of the arm, it's going to be that cylinder here. Then you're going to have that bicep here, and then you're going to have that, and then how does that go? Like that, yeah, chest. But it's not an anatomy lesson. So, but that's the same thing that's going to happen with the arms. These exact same things that you're doing with the legs are going to be the same things you're going to have to do with the arms. So let's go back to that piece that I just had. And this is the same thing. If he's sitting in that chair and he's going to be straight up, so then at that point, you have a little bit of waist. Then I will do the oval in that square. You've got a little bit of waist going on. You don't want to have too much space between this and this. And stomach, and then you have your arms. Same thing. If you watch any of my classes, you'll know about the anatomy part. You have your shoulders, and then your arms are going to come down, so that is going to be that. Why are you drawing with a pencil? Because it's sharp. And that's the one thing I do like about these, that they are sharp. These things are sharp. They have a very, very fine point. So you can start out with a very thin line, and then use that same thing with a thick line. So if his arm was coming down, if his arm was just hanging down, it would be like that. I'd have it like that. But since if you have an arm rest or something here, then that arm is going to bend up, and it's the same thing with this thing. If it's coming down, this is one part of the arm, and he's going to bend that arm up. It's going to be like the same thing with these cylinders. I'm sorry, my camera is at a strange angle, so you can't see all of it like you used to. So it's going to be one part of the arm here, the other arm is going to be bent up. You're going to see that opening, and not a lot of the side. So it's going to be like this. And then wherever the hand is going to be here, you're going to see this come up. You're going to see that cylinder like that, depending on how much the arm is bent upward. It's going to be down like this, and the other one is going to be kind of like this. It's going to make it shorter, and then you have your hand, however you have your hand. If your hand is just going to be leaning over the chair, or if it's going to be holding a sword or whatever. So if this is really bent on a lot of armrests, I'm not going to say they're high, but they're high enough to where if you put your arms back, like if you put your arms like way back, let me grab this just because it's close to me. If you put your arms, if you're sitting in a chair, boom, she's going to sit in this chair. You have an armrest like here. A lot of times, how can I say this? I don't know if you can even see that. If you put your arm back, or you put your back of the arm all the way back like this, then it'll fit that armrest where it can sit on it comfortably. But most times people don't sit like that. Their arms are up more like this to be on that armrest. So this is going to be at an angle, and this is going to be touching it. So it won't lay flat like this. It's usually just hanging off of it, shall we say, can kind of say. So, but if this was coming down here like this, and this one was coming right at you, you would really not see much of the side, which is this. So if he had an armrest here, and as I said, his arm would have to be straight back at his side so that it would make that L shape on that rest. Here's the armrest. Here's your chest. Here's your back. Here's the chair. Yeah. And then you would have your hand, however you would put your hand right here. However I would put my hand. So then that wrist would come here like this. You really won't see too much of this part, but then you'll see this straight here. So if this one was straight down and his elbow was on the chair, it would look like this. But most times our arms are not on the chair. We kind of put it out like that. I know you couldn't see my whole arm, but you know, just go sit in a chair with arms. Now, one thing about this, a lot of times people will have clothes on. You're sitting in a chair. They'll have clothes on, so you don't have to draw the muscle as much. And once I finish this, I'm going to jump into that action poses with clothes on, because I spend so much time trying to teach you guys action poses that you have no idea what they look like with regular clothes on, because your heroes or your characters are not going to always be in their suit or their armor or whatever. There might come a day, or there should be days where, you know, they don't have to go out and fight somebody. You know, if you're doing a book, if you're seriously doing a book, they have to sleep. They have to wake up in their pajamas or just go to work. You know, even Superman had to wear a suit when he went to work. So you have to learn how to do clothes. So I'm going to do that, starting out with the action pose and then drawing clothes on them. So, you know, if that one day comes when trouble shows up and these guys don't have their costumes, you'll know how to dress them. They'll be fighting in their regular street clothes. So, all right, let me do this real quick. Let me do another one of these real quick to show you guys. Let's just use the pencil. Let's use the pencil, because you can see that. Again, I'll draw the chair first, but when I'll draw the chair, here's my person. Here's his hips. Here's his legs, or her legs, coming out. Cylinder, and the foot, which could be just a wedge until you get it all right. Now this leg could be out just the same way, or this leg could be in. You won't see all of this. That's all. The more pointed is in. Again, the more pointed is in, the less of the sides you will see. The more outward it goes, the more you will see it. So let's just use a little bit. So here's going to be the knee right here, and this one's going to, let's bring this foot in, because everybody doesn't sit like that powerful stand. Some people will just, you know, bring the foot in. And this is good when you have your wedge, because that shows you what good direction you have. And Again, you have your shoulders and your arms. And a lot of times people don't sit with their shoulders straight across. We lean a little bit. Lean that shoulder, lean that shoulder. Get a little bit of curve, just a little bit of curve. And then anytime I draw a square, if I'm drawing small characters, I'll do something like this. I'll do this. That way I know where my perspective is. Then I will draw into that little square. It's all the same. But I'll start out, if I'm doing little characters and do like a bunch of characters like that, you know, have them around. I don't try to draw each one like this and then put the weights on it until I get my composure of my picture. Then I'll do this, knowing that everybody's straight and where they need to be at. So same thing with this. You can go square or you can do the oval, however you choose. So to make the person, give them that little bit of lean, you do this, that, and go the opposite way with the other part. But this is going to be flat, so it's not going to be too much of an opposite way here. And the person could be like leaning down, could have his face down, you know, with his hand, just thinking. But you'd have to give him a whole lot more lean than that. Cylinder, hand would be like right here somewhere. All right, I am back. After 5 days, my camera battery died, and it took me 5 days to get back to finish this video because of so many other things going on. So I'm gonna try to end this in about 10 minutes. So this is gonna be kind of a rush ending, but hopefully I'll put the finishing touches on it all. Okay, so the first and most important part is if you're sitting down, you're gonna see the legs if you're doing a full body shot. So the most important part about that is the circle in a circle. Circle in a circle. Like that. Circle in a circle. Let's say this one. Circle in a circle. Circle in a circle. One more, just for giggles. Circle in a circle. Okay, now that represents one leg. Okay, so when you have your circle, which is your rear thigh, the back thigh, this is where your knee is going to go. When you put that circle that's inside of that circle, down at the bottom, you're seeing the top of your thigh. If you put it over to the side, you're seeing more the side of your thigh. If you're doing it at the bottom, if you're at the top, you're seeing the bottom of that thigh. And if you're doing it in the center, if you see it in the center, you're seeing that whole leg. Okay, hopefully that didn't last too long, because if I put another circle here and I put a circle here, then the legs are together. So if I do, this is the knee, these are the legs coming down, these are the legs together, and these would be the hips, especially if this was a female. So if I did that and I did another one here, I put them together. Put another circle right here, put the legs down. This would be the closing of the legs right there. So I did this and I did another circle here, and the circle doesn't have to be touching. You put that up here, this would be more, the legs would be rising or going, lifting up, or this could be more of a up shot. The camera could be down here, you're looking up, and they would have to be coming off of the chair basically, because you wouldn't be able to see the under part of the thigh if they were not on the chair. And this one would be just your legs coming straight out. And the difference between the male hips and the female hips is that you're going to bring it in more like that. You're going to bring that triangle. You're going to make that triangle. Remember when I showed you how to do it with female? The body is a triangle and another triangle, kind of like that. So that's your bottom of your hips right here. So your legs would go here and here. Which you put your circle within your circle. So if I put the circle out here and the circle out here, the legs would be open. Same way if I put the circle in a circle and the legs, the circles are close together, the legs would be closed. So that's the most important part. Now that's what you see when you're looking at somebody sitting straight on at you. Now when you start to draw someone sitting from the side, then that's a whole nother story. So let's switch paper. So the first thing you want to do is your chair. Come on, camera, do right. The first thing you want to do is your chair. And that all depends. And when I say depends, when you draw, there's a lot of depends in it. I'm not talking about adult diapers. I'm talking about it depends on a lot of things. Like, let's get the little girl again here. Depends on the angle. If you're sitting, if your character is sitting straight forward, and then you lean it or you twist it, you could tilt it up. You could tilt it back. You know, it's just so many depends. It depends on the angle that you choose to have the character. So I can't draw every angle for you. I can, but it would take forever and it'd be a long video. But I'm trying to give you the basics so that you can take the basics and then twist it a little bit. And that's why I say in my videos, you need to learn your shapes. Your shapes are important. Everything is going to be one of those three shapes: circle, square, or triangle, which this is going to be more. It could go to a rectangle. This could go to an oval. This could go to a cylinder type thing, party hat, or whatever. So you have to learn to draw these before you decide to draw your comic book or your storyboards or your character designs. You have to learn these shapes, period. So, okay, so doing the chair side, or doing the female sideways or the male sideways, or the character sitting sideways, you can either do two things. You can either start to draw the character or you can do the chair. What is with you, camera? Do you need to focus on something else that's not white? Focus on that for a second. All right, so one of the three things you can do is you're going to have to do a perspective if you're doing chairs. So it's going to be a 2-point perspective. And this is really rough now, so stay with me, and I don't want to do too many lines going on. 2-point perspective. This might be a little close, and I know it's fading on me again. It doesn't usually do it that much. And then you draw your chair. So your chair is going to be in here. And again, that depends on the tilt of the chair, the bottom of the chair. How much bottom do you want to see, or how much of her leg do you want to see? If you want to see it just from the side, you want to see some top, you want to see bottom. So yeah, it all depends on that. Keep you from doing it. So in perspective, let's do the back of the chair. And realistically, as I said, a chair is not like this. A chair is more like this, like that. The back of your chair does lean a little bit. So, you know, you don't want it straight up and down. So even when you're drawing this, I'll put a little bit of lean to it, having to keep checking the monitor because I don't want it to blur. This is the back of your chair here, on this line here, or it could be above the line or below the line. And again, that depends. Let's bring it below the line just because it makes it a little easier to do the bottom. So we're going to come out. We'll say, we'll get rid of this one. I'm coming out here. And then again, we're going to come here. So it depends on how long you want your chair, the bottom of your chair. You just kind of like have to eyeball it at first to get that part right. But it's all going to fall on the line. You can have it way up here. You can have on the line. You can have this here. Let me switch colors. I don't want to mess up my chair because I'm going to have to put somebody in it. So there's a number of angles. Just remember from your point, because when you do this, it has to be more in perspective. Like that. You can have, like I said, depends on how much of the legs you want to see or where the camera angle is placed. It could be down below here, like this. So again, depends on what you want. So the easiest thing to do, like if you draw the chair first, let's just say, just for laughs, let's just say you're doing a car scene, and you know the people, you have somebody sitting next to you in a car. You do it the same way, same lines, follow that. Well, that's kind of close there. You follow that line. Dun, 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 dun. And of course that line is off because it actually is going up there. It still has to be on the point. But I said I'm rushing this. And then you have this. But as long as you follow that perspective line, those perspective lines correctly, then you'll be good. So now you have a double chair, so you can have people. Either there could be some people sitting on the beach in beach chairs, or there could be a car. But of course, if it's a car, then you know you have to do your headrest and curve it around a little bit. But that's on you. Now, when you sit somebody sideways, you can either do two ways. You can either do the circle, the waist, and then the hips, which it would be flat on that chair. But you got to have some thickness to it. The same way we did the chair earlier, I was showing you. You have some side, I think, because it's been 4 days. You have to have the side of the chair. So that means you're going to have to see the side of the person as well. So if you're doing the circle, you have to do the beetle the same way. You're going to see the side of that person. So you're going to see this. You're going to see this. This is the best thing to do is just draw this little box here. Find your center. Then you can put your leg. Now that leg is going to, that circle on that leg is going to come all the way out. It's not just going to be, making sure, because my camera is so, I don't want to get into it. Like that. It's not just going to be in here. If this is the center line, that leaving space for the junk, that circle is going to be all the way covering this entire box. This one's going to come out here. Now going from the side, you're going to have your leg has got to come from the side. The same way this is going to come to the side as well. But it doesn't have to, because you can put your circle here and it's just a closed side. So basically you're just drawing those cones. Remember when I was saying that those orange cones in the street, those little cylinder cones, this is all that is. You're just drawing the cones. So let's get back to this. And this is really small, so I should have did it big. But I'm showing you but I want you to use this one. And then of course you have your shoulder here, and you do what you want to do with your arm. If they're piloting some type of ship or something, the arms are going to go forward, and you're going to see some lat right here. You're going to see that lat because the arm is going to come up and then show that lat. Now, as I said, this is your center. Hopefully you can still see that. This is your center. This is your leg. Your leg is going to come out. It depends on the angle of that seat. That's part of the seat, the front seat. And then you have your space, and the other leg is going to come here. And the knees are going to line up the same way with that perspective, with one of those perspective lines, and then go down like that. You don't want to have your legs too long. So as I said, you don't want to have the bottom of your chair too long, too far out, and because you'd make your legs too long. So, or you can do just a box. Now, one thing about people when they sit down, when we sit down, let's just say we're going to sit down here. Let's have somebody sitting down here. Our backs are curved. Okay, the bottom part, you have your little, I forgot what that's called, in your back, that little bend in your back. This is going to be the hips, right? It's going to be your legs. I had to think about that for a second. Like that. Nobody sits straight back like that unless you're just tired and you're just leaning back. You're like, oh, I had a bad day. You're leaning back, your arms are back in the chair. But if we're sitting up, we all have that curve in our back, and we have it more now from bad posture because video games and watching TV and typing all day. So you're going to have that curve. Same thing here when you do that. So it's gonna be like this. You're gonna have that curve. You might not have bad posture, but everybody curves, especially when they're typing. You lean forward, to do your typing. So just remember that when you have your seat, and it doesn't have to be leaned back that much, but just remember that. So what you can do is just draw this square box like this. Curve it and then flat, and it hits the the bottom of the chair. And I'm going to redo this because I got too many lines. So curve, you're going to have that, like that, like that. You can cut this in half like this, cut this in half like that, find that center again. This circle is going to go, this whole circle is going to go here. You're going to have this, and then that leg is going to come out here. Now, if it's a female, you can have the legs together. If it's a male, you can just have that circle and just part of this circle right here. So it goes like that, and then this leg could come down here. So the more you put the circle in the circle, the more, I just lost that one, you have. Foreshortening. Thank you, Brian. Foreshortening you have. For instance, if I do one, as I said, here you have your box. It says this is your body. This is the body. Curve it a little bit at the top. And this, if I do this, you'll see the head. You'll see more of the top of the head. Curve it a little bit, and then like that. And again, that's your chair angle is looking down at your chair angle. Find your center. This hole saves some junk, room for the junk. The circle goes completely through this whole box. And then this is going to come up, and this is going to determine where your leg is. So I'm working with this leg here. If I put this circle here, and it comes down, that shows you that the legs are open. Now, if I put that circle, oh boy, you really did a good job with that red pencil. If I take this back circle, if I put that circle right here, or if I take it off of the circle and I put it just a little further up here, that means the leg, that shows that the legs are pretty much straight, but they're not closed like a female's. And remember, as I say, the males would not, the female's going to come out to that triangle more and then goes back up to that part, whereas the males would not come straight up, but they'll come in a little bit more and then into the wide lats. Torso, that's what I was trying to say. So just have to remember that. But just keep it in perspective. Then one knee has to, unless that leg was way out somewhere, but that knee has to hit that other knee and come down. That foot has to hit that other foot, unless you do the foot out somewhere like that. But still, if it's coming in perspective, 2-point perspective, you have to follow those lines. Let's just say my chair is like this. And that's pretty much just a little below the line, a little below the line. If it's above the line, you'll see the bottom of the box. Here's your box. Here's my eye line. If this box is above, you'll see the bottom of the box. If it's below, if the box is above the line, if it's below the line, you're going to see the top of the box. So just think about that when you're drawing that chair. So I know this is a really messy paper, but you know, teaching is messy. So let's just say I'll do this. I'll do this little curve first. Let me get a pencil, different color, different pencil, different shade. Little curve, because as I said, the body is we hit the curve back, and when it comes straight down, pretty much. So let's do this. And then you can shape it later. Don't make it too skinny now. Don't make the character too skinny. Find that center line, curve up like that. Have that junk, so you want to curve up. This leg is going to be here. So this circle is going to come all the way across. And remember, it's sitting down. So one circle is not going to be up, another circle is not going to be down. One's not going to be up here, and the other is going to be down there. They're sitting, both circles are sitting flat on this seat. Unless your seat is at an angle like that, then you still have to have them on that line. So we have this one here, and these are just cones or cylinders, and you have this other here, and let's bring that here, say right there. So again, here's your point. I know somebody's like, Brian, that is so messy. It's hard to keep up. And then you have from there, I'll tend to draw my beetle. Just give me a pen that works. That because you don't if the one thing is if you're drawing the hips, if you're starting at the bottom, like drawing the waist, the hips, I don't know why I keep messing those up, then I tend to make my characters a little long, and you probably will too until you get it right the first time or you practice a little bit more. So then you do the beetle, then you can do center line, the remember, it's going back, it's going down, so your shoulder blades will have to do that unless you're lifting one arm. Shoulder blades have to follow that. The mountain, the sides, because remember you're seeing the side, so you're gonna have that side point. You won't see this point. Then you put your shoulders in, and then you can put the little tuna can in down here somewhere, and then you do whatever you want to do with the arms. If the person is whatever you want to do with the arms. You could be, both arms could be coming down. As I said, you're going to see some lat. And then you, again, with this, you're going to have that. They're going to stop, bring them together. It could be flying a little joystick, kind of airplane. Or choking a chicken, whatever, whatever. The little chicken flew into flew into his car, and he grabbed it by the neck, choking the life out of it. It's comics. What can I say? So yeah, and you're gonna have this. Remember, you're gonna have that space for the man junk or the female junk, or it could be a chicken joystick flying the plane, whatever. All right, wrapping it up. One last thing. If you're doing the female, or if you're doing someone with their legs crossed, okay, here, let's just say this is the hips. This is the hips. This is one leg. This is the other back of the thigh. What you're going to have to do is bring this leg in. You can't have this out, the circle out, and the circle out. You have to bring the circle in. Okay, you got this one. Come on. Thank you. You're going to have this circle. This is the thigh, again, just in case it was really blurred. You have this, and you can't have the circle out. You have to have the circle in, close to the other circle, because you're going to see this side of the leg. Because when a female crosses her legs, they'll bring one leg, or when anybody crosses their legs, you have to bring one leg in. This one goes down. This is the easy part. This other one is going to go up. You have to still have this circle here, but it's going to go up, because when you have a knee, usually the knee is on top of the knee, just at that 45-degree angle. So circle here, circle here. If you're doing, left or right or left. So you're going to have that circle, and then you're going to have this cylinder come here. So that's where the back is, and then your leg is going to be here. The other part of your leg is going to be here. Or foot, leg. Get it right, Brian. Leg. Like that. So if I ink this and made it halfway a little better, this is going to be your knee, of course, as I said, calf. And then this, because the knee is hard, this is going to stand out, and it's going to push this flesh. This flesh is going to push up, and it comes out down here. And then there is your thigh. Actually, it's going to be like that if they have no clothes. But hopefully you're doing with clothes. Like so, and then there. So just remember to put one knee over the other knee. Like that. So if this was what I did that way, so this would be what? This would be this side. This would be this, the back of that leg here. This is this one here. So which side am I doing? This other knee would be up. I did the wrong side. It would be like that because this knee's over, so it would be like this and then down. So you wouldn't see that. No, I did right. You just wouldn't see this back thigh. It would be like this. So if the thigh was here, this other thigh would be here. This like that, which is a totally screw up because I have too many lines for you to really understand it now. But just remember, one leg, other circle in close, the other knee, other circle is up here, and then come down like that. And then there's your leg, there's your thing, and you can draw your thigh. Now, if you want to do like the male version, we have our leg up. How do we have that? We have the one, when you have the leg up like so. And then there's the foot here. You'll see more of that. And then the thigh is going to be probably more down. You have your knee and you have that. And then you have your other leg. And that one doesn't have to come in. That could be still out because it's a man. Because we just don't close our legs. So that's going to be the knee, and it's going to be like that. The man junk, the other leg, and a little bit of thigh here, and then we have that. But usually the leg is a little higher. And then the word depends comes in there again. Depends on the angle of the camera angle. So using the fat pen, going to be, remember your knee is hard, so whatever sits on it is going to be pushed in, which is this. So because the leg is open, you're going to see some man junk or shadow. And then your hip, the hip right about there. Then you can do your belt or whatever, and then your tunic can, and then your torso, not making the torso too high. As I said, that's going to be a problem when you first do it. A lot of people make the torso too high. And then instead of everybody straight on, you can tilt them just a little bit to give them like that relaxed kind of, you know, I'm chilling here. You know, I got my arm on the thing, on the little bench. I'm chilling. And it could be whatever, holding a beer or whatever in the other hand. Talking to his buddy, which is, you know, right here. Kicking it to the side, because he got the side, because you see the side. And then his leg can't be touching another brother's leg. Like that. The circle here. His leg is here. And his leg is going back because they're both chilling. And he can have like one arm up, other arm behind the bench. Like that. So yeah, you can either use a circle, but I'll tend to do the square because I'm going to try to keep it in proportion, and then I will go ahead and do the beetle so that I'll know that everything is in proper proportion. So firstly, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want me to kind of expand on it a little bit, expound on it just a little bit more by like doing more positions, like just female, because females they sit all kind of crazy different ways. Let me know and I'll do another video on that one. But leave me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Tell a friend if you haven't told a friend. And it was something else that was important and that I forgot. Yeah. So that's going to be it. Subscribe, leave a thumb, hit the notification bell. That's the one. Hit the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I put up one of these great, fantastic videos that actually teach you something, not just show you pretty pictures. It teaches you how to draw pretty pictures. So yeah, help me grow my channel. So that's going to be it. I will see you guys in the next class. This class is dismissed. Let's do this beer. Just got a beer. This is a Corona. I wanted the Corona beer kind of die because of the virus. Probably did go down in sales. Yeah, and it's foaming up. Dripping all down because it's hot. It's a hot day. So anyway, I'm out. Later.